Welcome back to Wonder Owl, where we decode the hidden maps and power dynamics running our world. Imagine a massive cinema hall. It is packed to the brim with thousands of people, but to leave the building, there is only one single tiny exit. For decades, the global oil trade has operated in this exact same scenario. The major crude producers, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, the UAE, and Iran, all sit deep inside the geographical bathtub of the Persian Gulf. To get that oil out to the global market, there is only one natural exit, the Strait of Hormuz. Every single day, roughly 20% of the world's crude oil is forced through this one narrow gap. Look at Mumbai's Bandra-Worli Sea Link. The Strait of Hormuz's shipping lane, where massive tankers navigate, is only 3 kilometers wide, shorter than this bridge. If a ship breaks down or a conflict breaks out, that tiny exit gets blocked. Inside, the producers cannot sell. Outside, the world suddenly loses its energy supply. With trillions of dollars on the line, why didn't the oil industry simply build a backup route? We lay undersea internet cables spanning entire oceans. Bypassing a 3-kilometer bottleneck should be simple. It wasn't a lack of awareness. As seen in this photo from the 1980s tanker war, the threat of closure was a constant reality. The real obstacle was political geography. To lay a pipeline to the open ocean, you have to cross someone else's borders. You trade a geographical bottleneck for a geopolitical minefield. If you build a multinational pipeline, your neighbors control the flow. A sudden regime change, a border dispute, or a militant attack could render billions of dollars of infrastructure completely useless overnight. For decades, global policymakers ran the numbers and concluded that relying on the fragile, narrow choke point of Hormuz carried less risk than trusting unstable political borders. The global economy remained hostage to geography. Then, one country quietly decided to dig under the wall. The UAE looked to a tiny dot on its eastern coast, the Port of Fujairah. Crucially, Fujairah sits exactly outside the Strait of Hormuz, directly on the open water of the Gulf of Oman. To reach it, the UAE built the Abu Dhabi Crude Oil Pipeline, or ADOC. This is a massive underground artery designed to pump oil directly from the Persian Gulf coast straight across the country to Fujairah. Look at these deep valleys. Getting to the coast meant carving straight through the Al-Hajar Mountains. Engineers had to lay high-pressure steel pipes across these massive, jagged peaks to maintain a continuous, forceful flow. The effort paid off. Today, that pipeline continuously moves 1.5 million barrels of oil every single day, completely bypassing the perilous choke point. They proved that a nation with enough resources and vision doesn't have to accept a geographical trap. They can engineer an alternate route. But solving the pipeline problem creates a new logistical issue. Once 1.5 million barrels of crude hit the coast every 24 hours, you need somewhere to put it. That is why Fujairah is an artificial ocean of fuel. The facility, dominated by these massive Vopak Horizon tanks, boasts a staggering capacity of 18 million cubic meters. To grasp that scale, imagine handing a 10-liter water bottle to every single person in India. Now give them a new 10-liter bottle every day for an entire week. That combined volume is what Fujairah can hold. Fujairah functions as an enormous pressure valve for the global economy, providing a critical buffer whenever the Strait of Hormuz faces high-pressure tension. The mere existence of this storage prevents market panic. Buyers know these massive reserves can keep oil flowing even if the primary choke point is temporarily threatened. This escape hatch is especially critical for India. Because Fujairah sits directly on the Gulf of Oman, it offers a wide-open maritime highway straight to India's western coast, with 0 choke points in between. Historically, the Indian economy has been highly vulnerable to Middle Eastern tremors. Any disruption at Hormuz chokes off the supply, sending domestic fuel prices soaring and triggering inflation across the country. To secure that direct line, India is building its own physical shock absorbers. Through a project called ISPRL, the Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited, they are hollowing out massive caverns deep inside the coastal bedrock. These immense underground bunkers are positioned near major hubs, like the Visakhapatnam Port Trust shown here, ready to instantly receive and store the secure flow of oil arriving from the UAE. By linking the UAE's coastal bypass directly to its own fortified subterranean vaults, India ensures that a distant political crisis cannot suddenly suffocate its domestic economy. Maintaining these massive, secure reserves positions India as a regional energy buffer for all of Southeast Asia. In the event of a total Middle Eastern shutdown, neighboring nations won't have to scramble through the chaos. They can rely on India's guaranteed stockpile to bridge the gap. Which brings us to a much larger question. If a single pipeline and a coastal port can neutralize one of the globe's most dangerous bottlenecks, where else are we currently trapped by geography? The nations that dominate the next century won't necessarily be the ones stacking armies along their borders. They will be the ones with the engineering foresight to build entirely new ways out of old traps. Thanks for watching. If you want to keep exploring the hidden systems and smart engineering running our world, hit subscribe and join us for the next deep dive.